What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're doing DC-9 from Proving Grounds Play. This is a part of TJ-Nulls OSCP Prep, and that's why we're doing it today. So this was a pretty cool box. I do suggest for you to go and try it out, check it out, and see if you find any other way to exploit and pwn this box. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so the first thing we can start off with is an Nmap scan. We can do TAC SC for default scripts. We can do TAC SV for version enumeration. We can do TAC V to get ports as they come through. And then we can do TAC ON to output to a file. And we can do enum initial with the IP address just like this. I already did run it, so we can do less. Enum initial, right? And if I can spell, that'd be great. So we do see that we have two ports that came back in the scan. One is port 80, which is HTTP running Apache. That's going to have PHP on the back end. And we see the HTTP title doing or saying example.com staff details and welcome. So we do see that SSH is here and present, although it is in a filtered state, meaning that it's closed. So we can just go ahead and take a look at that web server. So we do have this web server right here. This doesn't look like any specific type of CMF. Looking at the source code, I can only see that each. I'm assuming that each little column here or each functionality of the website is going to another PHP page. So I'm just assuming that everything is just a plain web server running PHP in the backend. So maybe we can have some, PHP code inclusion or, local file inclusion. We can also try and do some command injection, SQL injection, whatever we can try and get from this, right? So look, hovering over the home button here, we can see that it goes to index.php. We can go over display, and then on the bottom left, you can see display.php. I can make this a little bit bigger. We have search and goes to search.php, and then manage goes to manage. And so if we go to manage, we can see that there is a username and password field. There's nothing really that we can do here. We can try admin. That does not work. It gives us your login name or password is invalid. Maybe there's SQL injection here, so we could do admin like that, and then admin like that. And we could try admin or 1 equals 1 with a comment. We can copy this. And it doesn't look like we can really get anything from here. So, well, we can try some cross-site scripting. We could do image source, right? Equals, and then we can do HTTP, and we can do our IP address, 45, and then 198, like that. And then we can do pwned. See if that works. We can close that off, just like that. We can copy this. Copy that entire thing, paste it here, come over here. On port 80. See if this comes back to us. And it doesn't. So we don't have really much there other than just a login functionality. Let's see, what else can we do here? Display all records. So we can come to the display all records. So this is all the user information from, I'm assuming, a database, a backend database. So this looks like it's probably doing a SQL query in order to display all the users in a table, right? So looking at this, I'm already thinking that we might have some SQL injection just because the way that this is sort of formatted. Maybe there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 columns, 5 or 6 columns, and we can probably do some type of SQL injection to get more information from the box, or from the backend database. So what I'm looking for right now is I'm looking for user input. Where can we test this injection, right? If we come over here to search, we can see that we can search for user information. So if we come here, right, and this is Mary Mo, we have Julie Dooley, whatever, Fred Flintstone, we can grab, let's just grab this one, Fred Flintstone. We can come over here, search, and we can type this in. Don't get anything. Hold on, that was weird. There you go. You can put in Fred, and we get Fred's results. So what I want to test for now, right, is the SQL injection. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put a single quote, see what happens. So we don't get anything. We get sort of an error, I would assume. Let's try like this with a comment. And we get Fred Flintstone. Can we do or, let's try or 1 equals 1. And it does look like we have SQL injection. So this gives us all the same thing, or all the same users as the display all records. And that's because we did an always true statement. So we don't even need to put Fred. We can do like 1, right? And then this is previous testing, but 1, and then we can do or, right? 1 equals 1. And this right here is going to be an always true statement, meaning that it's going to return everything in the database table. So what we can do from here, right, is we can test for union injection. And we can do that by doing, let's try an order by statement. So we can do order by 1, like this, right? So we get 0. We can try 2. We can try 3, 4, 5. And it doesn't look like we're getting any type of result back from this, right? So the next thing I went to was to try it with a union injection. So I did union, select 1, like this, nothing, right? So let's try 2, nothing. We could do 3, we could do 4, 5, 6, oops, 6, and we get something back. So these are all of the fields that we can actually inject in. So that's pretty cool. We can do something like add version and get the version. We can also do user and get the user. And there's a lot of other things that we can do here, although something that I think would be a little bit better that we can, go ahead and put in the background is going to be a SQLMAP, a SQLMAP command to sort of enumerate the database a little bit, right? So we could do 1, right? A valid query, open a burp. And the reason I want to open a burp, right, is I want to send the request, I want to send the request through burp so that I can grab the file, or like a request file, and we can do it like that. So I can grab this, right, come here, right click, and then we can go to copy to file. Then we can do, where are we? DC-9 loot, awesome. And we can do SQL.rec. Save that. Don't even need this anymore. Although it might be easier just to do the SQL injection manually through there. Like just test it out, hang out with it a little bit, play with it. So what we can do, right, is we can come in here, we can do SQLMAP like this, tag H. We can look at all the flags that we can use. And I'm just going to use a couple of flags here that's going to be a little bit useful. I'm going to use batch, which is not going to ask for input. It's just going to say yes to everything. I'm going to do DBS to enumerate the databases. I'm going to do a level and risk, and then we can go from there. And then attack R to use the request file. So let's do SQLMAP, tech R, and then we could do loot and SQL.request. Then we could do level 5, risk 3, batch, like that. And then we can do tac DBS, just like that. So this is going to test for SQL injection. This does find it, at least in my last attempt at this box, this does find it pretty quickly and does spew out data pretty quickly, which is pretty cool, instead of waiting one character at a time. So this is just testing a bunch of, I mean, you can see here that it identified the backend database, it's MySQL, and then it's just testing a bunch of different queries to see what it's vulnerable to. So you see right here, generic union query, that is what it is vulnerable to. And these are the 3 different types of vulnerabilities or SQL injections that it is vulnerable to. We have Boolean-based blind, we have time-based blind, we have union. All right, so here are the available databases. We have information schema, we have staff, users, and so what I want to do, right, is I want to check out staff. Maybe we can get a username from the for the login form, right? We can check out staff and we can check out users. You know what? Let's check out users first. So we can do D and then users, right? Then we could do tables to see all the tables in the users database, or in the users, yeah, in the users database. So this is user details. We can grab that. We could do tac T, just like this. And then we have all the columns that are in this table. So what we can do is we can just do tac dump. It's going to dump everything. And boom, we have all these users here, which is pretty cool. So what we can do is we can grab this, right? Grab it just like this, come out here, and we could do VI users. We could do set paste, and then paste this in. And then we can do from there is, actually, there might be a better way to do this. No, I'm just going to do it like this. That's fine. So what I did when I was doing this is we can cat out users. And then we have a couple of things here, right? If we come up, we have password, ID, last name, the registry date, and then the username. So we want username and password. So what we're going to do is, this is space. How can we do this? Okay, we can try that. Let's do cat users, right? And then we could do cut tac D on this. Tac F. Let's see, how many are there? We can do 1, 2, 3. What does that do? Okay, so that is, let's see, 4. Yeah, there you go. So here is the passwords. So we can do is output to passwords, just like that. And then field, what is it 6? There you go. That's going to be the users, user names, just like that. So there we go. We have a list of usernames right here. And we have a list of passwords. So this will be useful in a little bit. What we can do now is we can come back down here, back to SQLMAP, and we can change this query up to go into staff. I want to see the tables in staff. So we have staff details and users. So let's do staff details. Let's grab this. See the columns in there, and we have a couple of columns. Okay, this I believe is the actual, yeah, let's just look at that real quick. This is the actual data that we're getting back from the website. So this right here, the display all records, this is the actual record table that it was grabbing from. So what we can do instead is go to users, dump that. It's attempting to crack a MD5 password. We don't have to worry about that though, because we have, all right, cool. We have username admin and a MD5 hash. So what we can do is we can copy this. Let's go over to Crackstation. Oh, and I'm still intercepting with burp. That might be useful to not do that. Going over to Crackstation, we can paste this in here. I am definitely not a robot. And we have a password. Awesome. So we can come in here, right? We can go cd creds. We could do vi creds. And we can put in admin. And this password. Let's try and log into this website. So we can do admin and password, or not password, this password. Now that we're logged in as the administrator, now we can see that we have another added functionality to the website. We have this add record button. So if we click on that, we can just add another user to the backend database, to the table, right, of all these displayed records. So if we come over here, we come all the way down, we can see that there is another user added to this table. So nonetheless, that doesn't have really anything much to do with the continuation of the box, although we do see that this has a file does not exist message here at the bottom. If we go look at the source code, you can see right here at the bottom, file does not exist. That sort of implies to me that it's trying to include a file within this page, although there's no parameter or file name being included. So what can we do? We can fuzz to see if we can find a parameter for this page. So let's go over here and let's do FUFF tac u http:// we can grab the IP address. We could do manage.php fuzz equals, and then we can do a bunch of slashes to see if we get any response. Like this. Then we could do a word list, OffSec list discovery, web content. We could do burp, parameter name. Then we can do a tac b to add the cookie. PHP sys ID equals, come back over here. You can look at this. This is our admin cookie. Grab that, paste that in there, and we can filter by lines, FL 51. Let's see if we get a hit. All right, cool. So we can see here that we have a parameter of a file. So we can go back here. We can do $file equals, like this. Grab all these slashes. Password. And it looks like we have local file inclusion. So what we can do is look at the source code, and here we have a better image of the etc password file. Now, going through this box, first, I sort of did this the hard way of just guessing file names and hoping to see if I find something valuable. But revisiting the box, I thought of a different way to do it, also using fuzzing, and which is just fuzzing for file names with an extension, right? So let's try that real quick. We can come here, change this to file, like this. Come over here to the etc directory. We can do fuzz and then .conf, right, for configuration file. We can come over here, web content. We can do directory list 2.3 big. All right. Let's see what we have to filter for. 51. And here, let's see if it starts pulling up. Okay, so look at this. We're starting to get files here from this fuzzing. So what we can do, right, is wait for this to finish, get all the files within here, do a for loop within bash to get all the contents of the files, and then export that to another file that we can grep for certain items for, and then go from there. This is just another method of doing this, and it was pretty cool to sort of see that this could work like that, right? So if, for example, I can come here, can grab this, can come up here, and we can do host.conf. And what? Interesting. Hold on. Oh yeah, here you go. So yeah, this is a file. You can see that the information from the file is right there. We can also see add user, like that. Here's the file. So that's just another cool way of enumerating files on the file system through FUFF. Now, if we keep waiting for this, I did wait the first time around. I did wait for this entire thing to finish, and then you find this file called noct or nocd, right? And so if we come up here and we search up nocd, we can see that nocd is a port knock server. So how this works is that it's a server that listens to all the traffic on a certain interface, right? And it waits for a sequence of ports to be connected to in order to execute a command. So right down here, you can see an example. Just like this, we have to open SSH, this is the sequence that we'd have to hit. We have to hit 7,000, 8,000, and then 9,000. And then the command would be executed to accept connections into the SSH. So what we can do is we can come up here. We can do nocd.conf, and we can see that there's actually information here. We can see that there is a sequence of ports that we want to hit in order to be able to open SSH. Because remember, if we come over here and we open up and we do Nmap tac P 22, and then let's do tac V, or we don't really need it. We could do that, and then the IP address. You could do this, and you can see that SSH is closed right now, right? So what we can do is we can come over here. This is 749. All right, let's grab this. Oops, not go to line. Grab this, come over here, and we could do for I in this sequence. We can do Nmap, and then we can do tac P, right? And the $I for each iteration. We can do the IP address, and then we can do max retries 0, and we can do host timeout, let's say 300, for example. Then we could do done. A nice quick little bash for loop to get this done. So we can see here, SSH closed. Let's run this. Let's run this again. Okay, interesting. Oh, that's why. Add a space over here. There you go. Oh, what? Where did the IP address go? Like this. Grab the IP address. Actually, you know what? Let's do it right here. Like that. Okay. Did it do all of them? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And now SSH is open. So we just did a port knock in order to open SSH. So that's pretty cool. Now we can close this out, right? We can stop this, but look at all the files that you get from this. Like you can do this with directory names, with file names, with any file extension that you want. And if we waited for all these to finish, we would see the knockd file, and then we can be able to look through there. But nonetheless, this is just a pretty cool way to enumerate, right? So we can close this out. So let's see, where are we? Okay, let's do Hydra, tac capital L for a username list, tac P for a password list, on SSH, :/ this IP address, and boom, we can start this up and we can let it run. So I'll be back when this finishes. All right, so it does look like we have some valid credentials here. We have Chandler B, Joey T, and Janitor with these passwords. So we can go ahead and try and SSH into the server with these people, right? So let's do Chandler B with this. Let's go ahead and do this with this password. Copy that. Yes. Put in that password, and we're on the box. Let's see, is there anything in here? Doesn't look like it. Looks like there's a lot of other users, like we were finding out earlier. We can do find /user Chandler B, and then we could do dev null. See what is his. We can grep -v for /proc. And /run. Is it E or O? Nope. Sys. All right. So other than that, we don't really have anything, right? At least in this guy's directory. So we can go ahead and exit this out. Let's clear this, exit. All right. We can try the next one. Joey T at this server. Like that. With password. And we're in. ls-la, list of files. Nothing in here either. We can try one more time that find command. Joey T to dev null. And just taking a look at this, it doesn't look like we have anything of real use to us. Oh, proc. Let's see. Yep, seems to be everything is in the proc directory. So this guy doesn't really have much to do either. Let's try the last one. Janitor at the IP. go back in here and we could do this password. And we do have another directory here, something hidden. So we can go in here, cd.secrets for Putin. We have passwords found on post-it notes. All right, we can do cat password found on post-it note. So we can go ahead and grab these passwords and we can go ahead and add it to our password file. We do vi passwords, come down here, and we could do like that. Hydra, tac L, see if we have any more. Usernames, tac P, passwords, SSH, then IP address. All right, and I'll be back when that comes back. All right, and we're back, and we do have another hit. We didn't have this guy before, Fred F. So what we can do, we can open this up, SSH Fred F at IP address with this password. And we're on the box. Let's -LA. We have the local.txt right here. This is the user.txt, but for OffSec is going to be local. So we have that, right? Let's try sudo tac L. And we have a binary that we can run, right? So we can run this as root using sudo with no password, and it's op dev stuff dist test and test. So we can close that out. All right, so let's see what we can do with this. Let's see where this is at and what it is. So let's go to cd/opt, cd dev stuff, or actually same thing. We can check this out right here. So let's do cat this. All right, so this looks like a Python script. And if we just try and run this, let's see what happens, right? Let's do sudo and this. All right, usage python test.py read append. All right, so let's see what this is doing. So this is a Python script. It's importing sys. And if the length of the arguments that we pass it is not equal to 3, it's going to print out this statement like it just did right here. And then it's going to exit. Else, if it is equal to 3, then it's setting a variable f to open the first argument that we give it, right? So think of it like this. So we have test.py, then we have user.text, and then we'll have, let's say, Etsy password, right? This is going to be the 0 argument. This is going to be the first argument. And this is going to be the second argument. So it's going to open the first argument in a read permission. So it's going to output, not output, I'm sorry. It's setting a variable output to be f.read. So it's going to read the file that we give it in the first parameter. Then it's going to come down here and it's going to open the second parameter that we give it, or the second argument that we give it, in append mode. And it's going to append whatever was written in this file to the end of this file. And then it's just going to close. So what does that mean? Let's do something real quick just to test. We can do, let's go to our home directory and let's vi priv.txt, for example, right? And we could do test. Let's do testing, right? We can quit that. And then what we can do is we can do sudo and sudo tac L. Let's go ahead and copy this. So now we have this, we have the priv.txt, and we're going to touch user.txt. So we have these two files, right? Now what we can do is we can do sudo, paste this in, and then we can do priv.text. Actually, before I do this, just showing you that there is nothing in user.text. We just created it. There's nothing in there. Although we can do sudo, do this, and then we can do priv.text to user.text. Enter. And now if we cat user.text, you see that it just appended whatever we wrote in priv.text into this file. So this is how we're going to privest this. Pretty cool. What I'm thinking, right? If we do cat etc sudoers, we can't see it, right? But if we add a line in the sudoers file to change the permissions of another user that we have the password to, we can basically do anything on the box as root, like with no password. So let's do it. What we can do is we can open this up. We can do, what was it? Cat etc sudoers. We can grab this as an example, and we can do vi priv, take that out, set paste, paste that in, and we can rename this to damn, it's always so weird. All right, let's quit this out and let's do nano priv.text, and then we can delete this, paste this in, and change this to janitor, like that. And we can just exit this like that. So let's try this out, right? Let's do sudo. Oops. The sudo tech L. Let's grab this. Copy that, sudo this, and then we can do priv.text into etc sudoers. All right, seems to have worked. Now, let's do SSH janitor at the IP address, like this. I log in as janitor, and if we do sudo tech L, we can see that here, janitor has all permissions to run on DC-9. So what we can do is literally sudo /bin bash, and we are root. We go cd root, and we can get the proof.txt. So that was pretty cool. That's a pretty cool escalation path. Another thing, or now what we can do is we can vi etc sudoers, come down here to the janitor section, take that out just to fix it. That we have that done. Now another thing that we could have done here is create a user and append it to the password file. So what we can do from here is we can cat the etc password file. We can come up here to the top. We can grab this, the root user entry. Then we can come down here to the bottom, and we can do vi priv.text. Go ahead and paste this. Then we can just change this. So we can do, we can rename it. Oh boy. Forget it. Let's do nano priv.text. Paste that in there. And we can rename this user. This is his home directory, so we can do home, and then we can put cool guy or random, like that. We can come over here, change this to random, and change this to random. If I could spell, that'd be great. Then we can open up a new pane here, right? And with OpenSSL, we can create a password or a hashed password, and then just import it to this X right here. So we could do OpenSSL, tech H, just so we can see the help. Let's move this up a little bit. Let's come up here and we can see, put in the type. Hold on. Let's see. Password. All right, here we go. So we can see the cryptographic options. All these are for different algorithms. So we can just choose one from here. We can do, let's do 5 for SHA-256. And then we can click enter and create a password. Actually, let's do this, and we can do password. And then we get this hashed password. So we can grab this, right? Close this out, come over here, paste that in there just like that, and then save and quit. And then what we can do is we can do sudo tech L, grab this, and we can do sudo this priv.text into etc password, just like that. Click enter, and then we can switch user to, or we can cat etc password, and then grab for random, and you see we have our user with the password within it. Then we could just do su random and put in password, and boom, we are root on DC-9. Now, what you want to do, right, get in the habit of cleaning up your mess. So we can do rm tech rf priv user, and then vi etc password. Come down here, and we can delete that user, right, and quit. And that's about it. So we can exit this, and I hope you guys enjoyed the box. That's it. That was, I'm sure that there's other ways to utilize this vulnerable machine. So if you find any other privileged escalation paths or any other way to enumerate things, please let me know down in the comments. I always love learning new things. But if you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you have any suggestions for other boxes that we can do.